Okay, let me just share my presentation. All right, works. Do you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, then hi everyone else from my side. Happy to participate next crypto assets conference again, even if it's just online this time, but still. My name is Benjamin. I'm the managing director of BlockRocket, and I think most of you guys have already noticed us, like me and my team, in our events the last month somewhere. But I would like to take the opportunity for a few minutes to explain what we do and what we currently focus on. So BlockRocket is an accelerator program for early stage startups in the blockchain space. And we focus entirely on blockchain related business models on the one side. And on the other side, our focus is that we can help those startups, especially within the German blockchain ecosystem. So startups can come from around the world, but within the German ecosystem is where we can provide most of the value. We invest up to 250,000 euro tickets, and we help startups with matchmaking and marketing, so to connect them to the right stakeholders, or to help them to gain additional exposure. And on the other side, we also accompany startups for a period of up to 2 years, where we help them with advisory and mentorship, given on the current challenges they might face at their given point of time. So in the last 2 years, we have built up quite some traction. At this point, we have around 200 applications per year. Our investment tickets, so they range from 100 to 250,000. We have around 5 to 10 investments per year, more than 250 partnerships. And we have around 2 to 3 events per month at the moment. So ranging from panels, pitch events, exclusive investor roundtables, workshops, podcasts, and so on and so on. So basically, you can think of us as compared to other accelerator models that are more famous or popular, but in a much younger and much smaller version. And as I said, with the focus of specifically focusing on blockchain related business models only. And one could argue that this sounds a bit niche, but if you have closely watched the development of the market in the last few years, then you have noticed that there's been dozens of unicorns that in the blockchain ecosystem that have been emerging from scratch. So we're very optimistic that the blockchain technology itself has enough disruptive potential to even further increase this in future and to give us a deal flow with hundreds and maybe thousands of yet to be founded startups in that ecosystem that then might be part of our deal flow in the next years. But let's take a step back and ask ourselves, what does it actually mean to be an early stage investor? And from our perspective, a company can be divided into different life stages. It has a lifespan and has different life stages. And as an early stage investor or as an accelerator, so most accelerators are early stage investors, we primarily focus on the part that is considered pre-seed and seed. So basically, mostly there's no revenues or zero, almost none revenues, and not really product market fit yet at this point. And this stage is also classified by many investors as the valley of death, because this is also the stage of a lifespan of a company where most startups actually fail. And on the other side, we think it's also the life stage that's most exciting, because this is where most startups fail, because this is where most of the innovation actually is made. Because to achieve product market fit is actually incredibly hard. And we think it can be compared to a scientist who is in a lab and who does trial and error to find a breakthrough for a product that he or she thinks will solve a problem in the world. But then reality turns out it takes actually a lot of trials and errors for the few experiments that succeed and actually become a game changer. And that's the same way we would compare it or look at it in the startup space. And then the key question, of course, is what are the main factors to survive within the valley of death? So what do we as an investor try to look out for specifically if you look at startups in that lifespan to think if we think they have the potential to be one of the winners? And of course, the winners from this lifespan are also extremely lucrative, because that's where most of the innovation then is done before they enter a growth stage. But before I answer the question from how we try to focus on what our criteria are, we have actually prepared as BlockRocket, we have events and we have monthly pitch events. And I think they are a great example, because every month we invite a few new early stage startups. that basically operate all in the valley of death, because most of them are pre-seed and seed, that will present like the use cases. So for startups, it's a great opportunity to get additional exposure. And for participants, it's a great opportunity to learn about like what are like new business models out there to learn about. So we have a trailer, and then after I will specify our view on it maybe. Every month, tune in to watch the most popular competition in the German blockchain space, BlockRocket Monthly Pitch Events, where some of the most promising startups in the blockchain space present the use cases in front of leading VCs, angel investors, and executives from our ecosystem in Germany, and compete for our title, Startup of the Month. Get ready to learn more about new blockchain business models.
It's massively disrupting finance.
We have a very ambitious goal, which is that we want to change the future of adult entertainment.
In 2019 alone, Africa sold about 100 billion units of human hair extensions. 38% of those were counterfeits.
Erotic entertainment, and especially porn, has a bit of a bad reputation.
That's exactly what we're trying to solve at SurfyX.
We ensure that all the products that are sold on our platform can be traceable from source to consumer to ensure quality. On the e-commerce side,
we'd be looking at a total revenue potential of close to $50 million.
NFTs is going to operate on 3 huge markets.
What does the market look like today? Is it very fragmented, or are they big players?
How can you guarantee about the authenticity of the content?
So, who will be our next startup of the month? So that is the, one second. Yeah, that's the question. So if you want to find out, then please visit some of our events in future. We think, as I said, it's a good opportunity to always get exposure to startups that actually find themselves in that spot of their lifespan. From our perspective, to answer the question, there's different factors that we look out for. We think actually for us, the more early stage of startup, the more important the team factor. So team for us, like by far is like most important criteria. So what's the track record? What's the commitment level? What's the team dynamic? But also focus on features like what does a product look like? Product stage, traction, features. Like does it have 10x improvement potential? What problems does a startup solve? How relevant is it? What substitutes exist? What trends do we see? What about the market? Like what's the size, growth potential, competitive landscape, success factors? Especially in the crypto space, for example, we have lots of regulatory issues. And most of all, as well, the technology. So especially in the blockchain context, we have a lot of business models where we really have to challenge again and ask them, do you think blockchain technology is really necessary to solve this problem? And of course, also the tech stack, scalability, and the team expertise in regards to tech. So we put this into a consistent process, and startups can apply online on our website, and they go through multiple rounds of interviews, events, due diligence, and then within a time span of 4 to 6 weeks, we decide if we make a specific investment offer or not. And of course, I don't do this only by my own. Fortunately, I have a talented, ambitious team behind me that supports me for most of these processes. And of course, we also have a variety of shareholders. One of them is Wolfgang and Blockchain Founders Group, who've just pitched before. And of course, they also closely advise us in how to look at startups or what investment decisions sometimes to make. Our journey can be summarized as in 2 years ago, we were founded. 2019 was the year for us of initial traction. 2020 was to kick off our first investments. This year is mostly focused on expanding our deal flow and like increasing our investments. And next year and beyond is the goal to reach and maintain the pole position in the venture space for blockchain startups. So the idea being that with hundreds and thousands of blockchain business models yet to be founded, we want to, of course, maintain our position and to build our position to be one of the entities that has the best deal flows in regards to new ideas that enter the market. And to make matters more concrete, today we have brought along 5 startups that are all part of our portfolio. I will not introduce them since they all present themselves, so I will lean back and leave the elevator pitch to them. However, if you have any questions, or if you're looking for collaboration, or if you're looking for funding as a startup, then please feel free to reach out to us. In any case, otherwise, I hope I see most of you guys at the next Crypto Assets Conference, then in person in Frankfurt again. And yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. My name is Tim Dierckxsens, co-founder and CEO of Arkane. And today's pitch is going to be a little bit different than other moments. Well, instead of just a regular pitch, we're going to talk about how our startup is becoming a leading blockchain technology within this technology provider within the space. Like any startup, what we had to do is we had to decide what is the problem and see whether we have a solution that can meet it. Identifying the problem for us was very easy. Blockchain for us was very difficult to understand conceptually. We noticed it was so hard for developers to implement, and for end users, it's very frustrating to use. So within the last couple of years, we saw that it was big difference between the expectation of implementing it and the reality. Then we also understood that Web 2.0 and Web 3.0 they're miles apart. The technology stack that we've been using for the past 60, 70, 80 years, that has been all built on top of each other. Well, blockchain does not really play that well with our current technology stack. And we actually asked the question, should that be the case? And we believe it should not. So that's why we decided to find a way where we can bring the two worlds closer together using Arkane Network. Now, a startup also needs to find its competitive edge. We were not the only ones to realize that there's a problem with blockchain technology, and we're certainly not going to be the first or the last. So we drew up an axis and we said, we want to focus on high usability and focus on being blockchain agnostic and be as much as possible as far up into that curve. For end users or consumers, we want to provide them the best user experience possible, while we want to give the enterprises the tools and services they needed so that they can build a business use case and to scale and onboard the consumers. They are able to do this using APIs so that they can custom build it themselves, or they can use our solutions out of the box so that they can rapidly have speeding up their go-to-market strategy themselves. Then, in the beginning, we ourselves also made the mistake that we were not targeting a specific market. And once we actually did that, there was a big difference in how we were able to communicate to our stakeholders or the clients that we wanted to onboard. We chose gaming as our go-to-market approach and strategy because, let's face it, gaming is one of the biggest and the most innovative industries that target or uses new technologies, that and porn. We just decided to focus on gaming instead. Now, by being able to communicate with the game studios, we understood what their problems are. And truth be told, these are the same problems in many other industries, but the way that they describe it and the way that we offer our solutions, there's often a mismatch. So once we understood a little bit more what they were looking for, we were able to tweak our products and services a little bit into what they wanted to use so that they can leverage our systems. And then on, we can look at going into other industries and doing the same thing, trying to position our product and services towards how they explain the problems that they are facing with the use of blockchain technology. If we boil it down into a single slide, this is best how we can explain Arkane. Arkane is a layer between the blockchain, the business, and how they can reach consumers to interact with blockchain technology. We focus on 3 pillars, being a wallet and a custody provider, NFT API provider, and a marketplace service. All the three products combined actually delivers an end-to-end product that the businesses can use and leverage. And each of them can also be used separately. So it is a very versatile tool stack that we provide for those businesses. If we look at the wallet, right now we just crossed over 200,000 wallet users. This time last year we had less than 6,000 users. Right now we have more than 100 million euro assets under management. We right now support 12 different blockchains and have been a security and custody provider for the past 2.5 years. And that is very important to understand because we're protecting use of wallets for fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens and making that available. Now, security and usability, that's very high on our radar because that's the primary thing that we have to focus on. We want to keep the businesses and users safe. Now, being on an ethical hacking platform for the past 2.5 years, this has really created a lot of trust in our business because once we show that to the businesses that we're targeting, they understand that we take it very seriously. We've even managed to have wallet insurance for businesses so that they can also leverage us and where we can reduce that business risk for them. With that, we're pleased that one of our primary clients, the Sandbox, has already onboarded more than 100,000 players to their game, offering them a way to interact with the blockchain game, giving them a wallet and the tools to make their own blockchain-based transactions and get the NFT assets within the wallet solution. We've developed a marketplace service for businesses and buyers to come together, and also where there's no problem with the gas fees because we're not only focusing on single blockchain, but on multiple scalable blockchains. We've also supported NFT artists, artists like Lewis Capaldi to create their own NFT store, making it available for them to sell their NFTs to their own fan base, even though that they're not using cryptocurrency itself. And last but not least, what you also do for our business partners is extend the ability to connect with the different businesses that we work with. The Smurfs, this is an IP that came to me that said, okay, Tim, I want to do something in the blockchain space, but Arkane is not the right partner to take on a license like that. We focus on
Tim,
providing the service so that they can connect to the businesses that we support. And that is basically how we became becoming a blockchain technology provider and have been recently been venture backed by high-tech gründer funds and BlockRocket. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here tonight to represent Decus Network. We are building a decentralized network of digital asset custodians. And I myself am Simon Peters. If you're a bank, if you're a hedge fund, if you're a tokenizer, and you've encountered the fact that you have to build complex custody and wallet infrastructure, I think I'm the right person to talk to. Because about 1 year ago, we started this journey and we have been looking at the custody market. And what we've been seeing is that custody is really diverse. So you can solve problems on many different ways. And we just said the kind of a extreme example here. You could, have a low custody, low security system, create a paper wallet, and then send around a private key via the Facebook Messenger service. Or you can, engrave a private key on a glass plate and then put it in a bunker in Switzerland. But also these have surely their application case. But of course, that is not how you really want to, you want to have a mixture of the right custody. You don't not only want custody, but you want to have the right custody and the right custody for the right things. So we start with that idea and said, okay, there's such a variety out of that. We have to create a way for organizations to connect with different custodians. And so what we have learned is actually the custody is even more diverse than we thought. And I just want to give you one example based on a tokenization. Imagine you tokenize real estate. So the first thing that you will encounter is that the custody now is actually has two meanings here. For one, it's the storage of the private key, but it's also the depository service of controlling a smart contract itself. So two players. Then again, when we look in such a tokenization project, we have encountered in some of them up to 4 different kinds of wallets with very different security standards and application needs. One of them might be, we start with an administration wallet, with an admin wallet, which only comes to place if you have an ERC 1400 contract, so a contract in which you do not have, that it's not interchangeable, but where certain things can be changed, such as whitelisting, minting, or burning, of a specific set of tokens. To that connect, it's a backend wallet, which basically executes the commands of the admin wallet. You have an issuer wallet, which is just a legal construct. Basically, you cannot, in some jurisdictions, you cannot sell a security that doesn't exist. So you first have to mint a token which represents the security before you can sell it. And then finally, of course, you have the investor wallet, which carries the asset, holds them. However, the admin wallet has just defined who is allowed to own a smart contract, own these tokens, and maybe even put a transaction limit up there. And now you're in a situation where you see, okay, there is a certain level of security that's required from an investor wallet. But wait a second, the admin wallet, if somebody could get into that wallet, that person could burn all tokens but one. And now we have a completely new definition of what it means to experience a hostile takeover. So it is absolutely, you need different levels of security for these different kinds of wallets. And that is just that side. Now there's something else that very technical term, a general signing purpose interfaces. Some custodians have it, some don't have it, some have it for certain standards. So what it is basically is there's a triangular relationship between the owner of a wallet, the wallet itself, and a smart contract, which is more or less administrated by general purpose signing interface. Most people have maybe experienced that by just using your MetaMask every time, your MetaMask asks you, should I do that? Do you want to really connect? That's a general purpose signing interface, and not every custodian has it. So just in short, in that 1 year, what we have learned is it is a lot more complex than we thought in the beginning. But every new level of complexity is just highlighting why Decus is an excellent idea, because we now enable that we build these complex custody infrastructure independent of the individual custodian. There's another learning we have. Some people hope that it will stop, right? That this innovation pressure will stop, that we come to a point and then you have it all and you can learn it and it's done. It will not happen. The pressure of innovation will increase. The pressure of new technology will increase. We've moved innovation to the perimeter, and this is exactly what we mean by that. We have a very rich network already. We work with as well custody providers, and who has ISVs that Arkane, the speaker before, is also in our network. We're very happy about them. And we also work with tech providers, which is extremely important because in each tech provider, might use, you've on one end, you've players that want to provide service, you've players that want to provide technology, and you have players in the middle. And that is also an interesting orchestration, and there's much space for different and individual applications. We've heard about Arkane before. Arkane is it's gaming, but it's also a real asset. So depending on the infrastructure, you might now want to have a certain provider is specialized on NFTs, in the same organization in which you hold different assets. Exactly. So, and one personal victory that we have just recently closed is we've got a new advisor. He's Matthew Akros, who is a senior executive at all the big investment banks that have been out there, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Lehman Brothers, Citigroup. And when I was explaining to him what exactly we're doing, he wrote exactly that back. What I've put there as a quote. And we've talked since then many times there. It is, having people like Matthew joining us as an advisor is a clear declaration of what is about to happen, right? Like, we're the future, and we're very happy to build it. It's a great privilege and it's a great joy. And thank you very much for BlockRocket and the blockchain founder groups and also the Frankfurt School to make these events. Thank you very much. And bye-bye.
So I think that is not the usual pitch here. So therefore, I want to tell you
why we are doing blockchain, where we come from, where we will go to. And when we started 2 years ago, our vision was, in the end of the day, we have to accelerate innovation to fight climate change, to have innovation with impact. And we are deep believers in a win-win situation if you accelerate innovation for all business, investors, the planet's future. And this derives our mission. We wanted to create simply a platform where simply organize all ideas as well as all the challenges and make them really fast, easily, safely available, but also in a verifiable way. But if you have a look at the internet, because that's the usual, I would say, the point where you want to go to, you know this. The uneasy feeling if you start sharing any type of valuable information like ideas, like challenges via the internet. We had a look at that. We have seen these offline meetings are very, very slow and cumbersome. So how to really accelerate that? So we have looked at the internet, and the one side is always pretty clear. There's a global reach of the internet. You have data access to all the data, and you have really fast attraction. But there are also a lot of concern. And the concern is confidentiality. Everything you post, everybody else can see. You need ownership protection if you have valuable information. And on the other side, you want to have manipulation protection. You want to have verifiability. And that's exactly the problem. You're seeing there is a missing trust. And this is a trust gap. And the internet is used for social media, for everything, but it's not used for idea, innovation, acceleration, what is really needed in the world. And the question is how to bridge this gap. And it's pretty clear. The only way to do it is, and the answer is blockchain, because blockchain equals trust. The nice thing with blockchain at that point, when we made the decision to do this, it was very nicely developed for the crypto market, for the cryptocurrency market. And the technology is already mature. You only have to take it and adapt it for this entry. But looking at this problem, it's not a problem that there's a trust gap, that the people know about it. It is, in the end of the day, a real world problem. And I have to switch my presentation here. So hold on for a second, because that is something we have done historically. What we are seeing as a key point is we are seeing when you try to match solution and challenges, the biggest problem is really the missed opportunities. It's very slow. It's at high cost because of the intransparencies, because nobody is simply sharing the valuable information. And that's what we solved with ipOcean. We started 2 years ago with talking to the industry and developing a setup, a process, a platform that works. And the outcome is, after 1 year in some kind of alpha phase, going back and forth with a huge number of companies, including companies like BASF, Merck, whatsoever, in the life science industry, you need on the one hand side the protection levels. And these protection levels are provided by blockchain, because you're doing a data securitization on the one hand side. You don't have to upload the data for this one. Everything is GDPR compliant, so other people can't see what you're doing. You can control on the platform really the visibility on everything you're doing. It's a social network, but it's you under your control who can see your content. You can do NDAs, CDAs on the fly while you're doing the data exchange. And the last point is really important. It's user identification. Here working also with a blockchain company who is providing this SSI interface so that people can get it clearly identified. And this is all recorded on blockchain. It's becoming manipulation protected and verifiable. And on the other side, you need all the gadget elements of a platform. That's what we learned last year, and especially in the Corona times, because first of all, we focused on the protection side. Now with the clients on the market, on the platform, we are seeing they're looking for engagement elements, that you can share the content, not as in social media. It's our algorithms are not optimized to show advertisements or to show adverts. It is matched we are matching based on relevance. There's an events management system on the platform so that people can run events directly on the platform. There's a messaging system in order to create all this traffic. So we more or less launched the initial minimal viable product a couple of months ago. And the traction and feedback is pretty strong after only 5 months. And in the beginning of April, we had more or less 200 organizations on the platform already. We got initial feedback from our early adopters like Helmholtz Institute. They're using it for technology transfer. They're more seeing it as some kind of LinkedIn for technology. We're using it for innovation challenges, open innovation challenges with Achima, and also for startups presenting their stuff to the outside world and other investors. And that's how the platform works. It is based in the end of the day on a very strong team. We have a team of 13 people currently, but the people, the brains behind it is Holger Banks, who's a strong networker, and Emil Stoyanos, who is our blockchain expert. This is in the end of the day, let me see. You're seeing here the organizations who developed the platform with us. We have more than 200 organizations on there already, so they're not all on the platform. But I would like to encourage you, come to the platform, help us, because we need in the end of the day content. We need in the end of the day people on the platform. So come to ipOcean.com. Please register to help us. Would love to see you on the other side on ipOcean. You get, after your registration, you can create your blockchain identity. You can see how it works, and you get a lot of invitations for workshops in how the platform exactly works. So get in contact with us, and thank you very much. And thanks to BlockRocket for this great event.
Hi there. Nice pronunciation of my name. Yeah, I was waiting for that one.
Thank you.
I'm Daud Zulfikar, one of the founders of License Rocks, and we believe decentralized technologies are a perfect fit for solving license issues we always face with digital products. So why do we think that? Well, licensing is broken. Like, if you think about licensing, it's super complex and it's not easy to understand, neither for the licensor, so the person who gives out the license, nor for the person, the licensee, for the person who receives that license or is paying for that license. And then when it comes to digital products, it's really important that you can prove a provenance, and the compliance, which is behind that, is really hard to achieve. And digital piracy and copyright frauds are everywhere. And you can see that especially right now in the NFT space. I've been in a talk by an American lawyer, and they just looked at different NFT platforms, and they could find really fast NFTs which were totally into copyright infringement, and no one is really controlling that. And if you see those numbers in the US, those are just US numbers. It's a major pain for the whole industry. So we came up with NFT-based licensing. Why did we do that? Well, we think you can break down a license into 3 different components. There's always a legal part, which is the contracts of a license. So we can apply to an NFT the contracts. Or before you purchase an NFT, you can see the contracts, what that NFT is all about. Then there's a technical part, which would be like a license key or some access to it. And there's a commercial part. How do you pay for that usage of that license? And all spins around ownership. And that's what an NFT is about. And that's why we love that NFT revolution we see right now. And thanks to people, we get tons and tons of requests from all kinds of different use cases at the moment. So we don't even have to do that much sales at the moment. But it started a little bit differently because we focused in the beginning on software use cases where we took insolvency cases and told them that they still can sell the software out of that. So with software, I mean, if you think about an Oracle license, database license, or if you think of some Microsoft Office license, as long as it's on-premise and if it's not a subscription model, you're entitled to resell it in Europe if you can prove the chain of ownership and the license right chain. And we built a product around that. And we also had really nice insolvency cases. The most popular one was Air Berlin that we could tackle with that. But then came Corona, and Corona gave us the opportunity. You would say there will be a lot of insolvencies, but our nice government decided that they stop insolvency cases. And we also lost like a really elite customer. And we always wanted to look at all kinds of different digital products, not just as at used software, but that was our go-to-market approach. And we figured out that our product that we built was not flexible enough. And what do you do as a founder then? Well, you pivot, yeah, and that's what we did. And we built like a NFT product suite, which is really versatile. So it's out of 3 components. The first component is something you could see as NFT templates you can come up with, and you put them into our Creator app. That's a white label solution that can be totally customized to your corporate identity. And it's also created for people who are not familiar with the crypto space, because we always talk about crypto should go mainstream, but then you have to take care about the UX. And that's what we did. And on top of that, we built like something to extract all those license metrics, which we call Metaproof, and we built an NFT Explorer above all that. So what kind of verticals are we looking at, and what are our strategies for growth? We started with software, as I explained, but we are not just looking at used software. We also have now a nice partnership with a company which wants to look at how can you track audits, because in large enterprises, you always have to do true ups and audits and tell software vendors what kind of software you had in place within a year. And right now we're heavily focusing on music, because music NFTs is something that is popping up. And there we partner together with Roba, which is the leading German music publisher operating worldwide, and we get all the license insights from them. And we already signed a few LOAs in the art space. I unfortunately can't reveal the names up to now, but something really nice is happening there. And the next vertical we will focus on are brands, because they also have like a lot of license use cases. And we focus always on the legal compliance side, because we think that's super important. Not a lot of people are doing that. We think it needs to be curated, really high quality content, and then you have to spin communities around it. And we always take also a license fee, and we think about being shareholders in these different verticals, and thinking about what we can do if they exit and get successful. So if you like that, then I welcome you to talk to me and get on board with us. Thanks.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me. And as Holger Geissler said before, this is not a regular pitch, right? But a little bit about the journey of some of BlockRocket's ventures. And I think we could be a good example here as well. So basically what we do is we're the platform, or we want to be the platform for anyone to create and invest through automated trading bots. Now, what does that mean and how did we come up with it? Basically, 4 or 5 years ago, no, 5 years by now, I started, actively trading cryptos. I did a PhD at the time and wanted to sort of balance off the wage difference to some of the other options maybe out there. But, you realize very, very soon that the game is rigged against you as a private trader. And so I lost a lot of sleep and also a lot of money. And studies show I'm far from alone because you're fighting against the big guys, the big funds, but also, banks and so on, where automation is key. And up to 90% of trading volume is already completely being automated in the professional space. Whereas in the private space, we don't see this automation simply because the good tools that you need for that are not available to the private trader. So we went out, me and my co-founder, and actually decided, let's build a platform so that anyone can build automation for their trading. And what we came up with was a very, very simple form of end consumers such as me building rules if they don't know how to code. And basically our first iteration of our product was something similar to this. Now, I hope that was able to see in your presentation and maybe even heard the sound. But in any case, this is sort of our first product iteration that we came up with 2 years ago. And we realized very soon that, first of all, we're not alone with this idea in the market. Some other competitors came up more or less at the same time, had a similar idea. And second of all, that we were sort of stuck in the middle with this product because on the one hand, users still didn't really know how to build a successful automated strategy with just plain rules and a graphical user interface. And on the other hand, a lot of our users simply didn't want to invest the time. So we came up with a second sort of solution, and that was what we call our code editor, a very highly specified Python editor where people could really build flexible and intricate algorithms to trade, targeting very specific Python users. Now, this worked great, but all of a sudden we were even more niche, and we had people that really only know how to build algos in Python, sort of hobby quants, data scientists, nerds, and so on. So we decided, okay, why don't we find a solution that really fits anyone and that really anyone can actually build algorithms or use algorithmic trading. And what we did is basically we came up with the marketplace, with the marketplace solution, where we said, why don't we combine on the one hand these people that really know what they're doing? We're giving them the best tools available in the B2C space to build really intricate, flexible, and sophisticated trading bots. And then we have a marketplace where they can put their bots onto and earn a potentially, very, very large side income by putting these bots up for rent to a large public who would otherwise have never access to these kind of tools and these kind of ways of trading. And that's where a second user group comes into play. We call them the followers, and they get a slick and easy to use mobile app. They can go onto the marketplace and select the bot that's perfect for them. And then with a few clicks on their mobile, they can follow it so that every algorithmic trade done by the creator's bot is automatically being copied onto their account. Now, this is the current product that we're on the market with. We're just finishing raising a seed round, hopefully going to be closed by the end of this week. And then with a large bang in Q4, wanting to launch this marketplace solution that I talked about. Maybe one last slide. Now, of course, being in the crypto space and offering a marketplace for trading bot is a great thing, but it doesn't really make it a VC case, right? This is sort of the feedback that we always got from all of the VCs that we were talking to now and all the investors. So we're thinking, okay, how is our vision even bigger, and what do we want to be in the future? And this is, I think, as a last slide, maybe something to take away from this. Obviously, in the future, we don't just want to be a marketplace for crypto trading bots, but we want to be much more. We want to be the platform for algorithmic trading, possibly even for algorithmic investing, if you think one step further. Because what we really see is a future in which basically everything is automated by some kind of bots, right? Be it your car in the street or your kitchen or any other. And obviously, we also think that this also pertains to private investments. And there, we really want to be the world's most trusted one-stop shop for private investments. We want to combine unrivaled accessibility with high-quality curation on our marketplace. And through this, enable really a broad range of users, from private, maybe even to institutional, to benefit from automated trading, who would otherwise never have access to it. And the cool thing is that bots will basically manage the investments in the portfolio and the trades of all these users across asset classes, so not only crypto, but also across platforms and across strategies, all in one place. And that is our vision. Thank you very much. Come join us in this journey and maybe even try out your first trading bot on our platform. Thank you.